Brand new advertiser, guys, Rec Specs. We love them. They believe that any adventure, work, or play is better with a dog by your side to keep them protected and with you no matter what. Rec Specs designs and manufactures performance-driven dog gear for the active and working dog. 20% off your first order. Discount code Working Dog Radio. All right, everybody, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting The Bite. Coming to you live. No, just kidding. We're not live. Coming to you, we'll get into this, but this is our second attempt at this episode. My name is Eric Stambro from Ohio, Canton, Ohio, and with us as always is Ted Summers, sporting the Red Ninja hat from Tulsa, Oklahoma. What's going on there?
It's still hot, like super hot, but it looks like we're about to cool off. I finally got home. Last time I saw you, we were in Phoenix at Hits, and we did several episodes out there. I don't know when it's going to come out relative to this one. And then after that, I went and did a trial for a PSA in Hollister, California, and then I had an HRD with Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office in San Jose. With quite a few good, I think we had like 15 teams there, really nice dogs, some new dogs, new handlers, and then I finally made it home and back to training green dogs. So I got a handler stool starting at the end of the month, and while I was gone, Alicia went and bought us a Mercedes Sprinter van for the kennel. So
saw that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's cool. It's actually really cool. What are you up to?
Well, yeah, we had Hits. See, when this episode comes out, this one will come out right before all the Hits episodes. So we recorded, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. We'll be putting those out for a little while. But yeah, we had good turnout in our classes. There was a good turnout overall in Hits. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Ted and I, the morning he had to teach, Ted and I walked, I don't know, you think it was a half mile maybe?
It was to the bagel place.
To the bagel shop. We came back. It was 7 a.m. It was 105. So we came back.
It was
I had
rough.
To shower again, a second shower. I just took one at 6 a.m.
It was rough.
And Ted had to go straight to teaching. It was hot. Like one of the guys melted his sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And then so this week I was in Connecticut with our friend Todd Mona and his crew over there, second year in a row for the big event there is called the Dream Ride. It is the Hometown Foundation is this massive charity that does this thing called the Dream Ride where they bring some of the nicest cars you've ever seen, old, new, McLarens, Lamborghinis.
I saw that.
Yeah, old cars, and it's a huge ride for Special Olympics. And there were 600 Special Olympic athletes that were there to ride in the car. So, I mean, it's a 11 or 12 mile loop that it took all day on Saturday. But what that has to do with dogs is years ago, Todd and his people were at a Cabela's doing a dog demo. And I think the guy who runs Hometown, his wife maybe was there and really was intrigued by the dogs, and then they came there and did a demo, and then now it turns out they support them. They help, they'll donate dogs to them. They've donated gear, car equipment, all kinds of things like that over the years. And then Todd and his group do a huge so Friday we did a class. I taught my removing conflict. Todd taught some tracking stuff. Nick Hodgins was there doing decoy work. Mike Garber was there. He did raising money, fundraising, because Mike and his guy Steve, there's only 2 of them in their department, and they have like a lot of money that they've raised. So they're really good at that. He taught that at Blue Line a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So then we do the class, and then Saturday's a huge competition, big K9 competition. It's fun. It's so I'm there Thursday, Friday. It's nice. It's cool. It's kind of rainy and shitty. Saturday, 87, baking sun.
Yeah.
Of course. I said, you ever want to end like a surge of rain? Have the Connecticut K9 competition. It'll all of a sudden the sun will come out
and bring out all the McLarens and Ferraris, and
that'll do it. So I judged some of that. Todd did, Mike did, a couple other guys judged some of that stuff. Brian Gagey's there. He's been on the podcast. He comes. He was judging some stuff. So it's a good time.
Oh,
man.
nice.
Good dogs, good guys. A lot of them were there last year for my class. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But last year I only did tone avoidance. I didn't teach all the conflict stuff. So it was good. So tonight, attempt number 2. So a little while ago, I was down in North Carolina visiting our friend Scott at Next Level Kennels, and I was doing some training there. And he goes, "Dude, you got to hear this story from this local K9 guy." And the guy, he got shot with like AK-47. His dog got shot a bunch of times. And if you go through our social media on Working Dog Radio, you'll see pictures of a American aluminum kennel from back inside a car, bullet holes all through it and everything. That's this incident. And it's sad because none of us had heard of it. Like nobody. And Scott's like, yeah, it was just all really localized and nobody really heard of it. So he goes, "You want to meet the guy?" And I said, "Well, hell yeah." So we met over at Scott's doggy daycare, and Corporal Allen came from Oxford, North Carolina. We sat down and talked a little bit, and what a good dude, man. So we're going to have him on and talk a little bit, tell his story. It's wild. His story's crazy. But last time we tried this, apparently in Oxford, North Carolina, Wi-Fi hasn't been invented.
Those dudes sending video from inside caves in Afghanistan, and we couldn't make this happen the first go around. So you guys need to get in touch with Papa Elon and get his fucking Starlink.
Yeah, and not a thing. Not a thing. So with us on better Wi-Fi from a relative's house is our buddy Corporal Daniel Allen. What's up, bud?
What's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah.
For those of you who, if this makes sense, so in his cruiser, they have this MiFi. We used to have that in Canton for a little bit. Those stupid little blocks, MiFi. They don't work for shit. And that's what we were trying to use. I'm like, what fucking year is it, man?
Yeah.
So thanks for getting with us again. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure to be on here with you guys, man.
So let's talk about this first segment. We like to talk about like where you're from, where you grew up, what your history of dogs is like, and then how you got into police work.
Well, I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. Then I moved down here after I was born, like 6 months old. I think probably a week later. My grandmother and my grandfather, we came down here. My mother really was unable to pretty much take care of me because I got 5 sisters and 3 brothers. So it was kind of rough. Yeah, and I'm the oldest. So it was kind of rough. And my grandmother and grandfather, they took custody of me and moved me down here to Oxford. I stayed down here for maybe until I was maybe about 9 or 10. Once I hit that age, I went up to my grandmother got too old, and my grandfather, they got too old to take care of me. So my uncle, he took custody of me, and I went up there back to Jersey City, and been living up there ever since. And I came down here when I was 28, I believe.
One of my favorite memes on the internet is a picture of this couple, and they've got like 9 or 10 kids. And it says, "It's called a uterus, not a clown car."
Oh my God.
So when you moved down there, you went by yourself? The other kids stayed up here?
Yeah. They're like scattered. They got older, and I have 2 up here, my 2 sisters, and my youngest brother is up here it's down here actually. One of my sisters is in Florida. The other one is moving down here, and my second oldest brother, he is in back up in Jersey City.
So when you're down here with the grandparents, were you a hellion or were you, basically little kid?
Yeah. I mean, man, I in my youth, I was in trouble a lot, man. I had to go to an alternative school. Every time like we would go to church, like I would punch holes in the wall, because I'd be fighting my cousin, like pushing him, and he was kind of chunky, so I used to always say fat boy," and like push him into the wall. And then if he got in trouble, his father was the pastor, So it kind of made it rough, but it was my whole family's church. So they kind of got to my grandmother and was like, hey, man, we sitting here praying at the altar and he in the back punching holes in the wall or stealing the crackers for communion and stuff. You know what I mean? So, I was kind of out of hand. But after I got to the alternative school and graduated out of that, I kind of slowed down a little bit.
That's tough for older folks to raise a kid,
Yes,
a little
yes.
kid. That's tough.
Yes.
I give them a lot of credit. So
absolutely.
So you go back up when you're like 10.
Mhm.
What's the rest of like that like up there? Jersey City is so ungodly different than Oxford, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I mean, you got certain areas where they actually shoot at the cops. You know what I mean? And just kind of like have no care. I mean, I grew up not rough, but I grew up in in a good area. My uncle and them, they always made sure, I stayed out of trouble when I got like to, that middle school and high school and everything, just because after a certain time it was like, well, I realized that I wanted to become a police officer. So once I kind of got everything together and realized like, hey, I can't be doing all of this stuff, because this is what I want to do. And I started looking up the background of how to become a police officer, if I needed a degree in certain aspects and different things like that. And I basically tried to become a cop up there in my early stages.
What triggered that? What triggered that idea to become a cop?
Honestly, when I was younger, I kind of forgot all about it because I kind of wanted to either play basketball or football or something like that. But as I got older, and they told me the story of how I kind of got into my grandmother's custody is what kind of led me to that. And my mother actually sat me down before she passed away and told me, along with my aunts and everybody, they told me that pretty much when I was younger, when I was born, matter of fact, my grandmother, who I think she passed away. I don't really keep in contact with her, but she actually took me from my mother and put me on a dumpster, and actually tried to kind of throw me away. But police officer was driving by. They seen the commotion and everything, and he saw me on a dumpster, and he was right, probably I want to say not even 30 seconds in front of the trash truck. And I was actually not even on top of the dumpster, but I was actually in the dumpster. So he came up there and got me, and they told me that story, and I'm just like, well, how can this random guy who doesn't even know me just kind of pick me up and just hold me until like everything kind of dims down and he gets, both sides of the story and what's going on, and keep me from actually getting taken away from my mother. So once I like kind of realized that, it was just like, man, like this is one person that I want to be like, and this is one field that I want to get into. So I made up my mind in my teenage years. I was like, man, look, I can't be selling drugs or, all this other stuff. So I'm going, take this path, and here I am.
That's crazy. That's an amazing story. Like really cool. And there, I can imagine Jersey City. They're coming at you at all sides. The gang guys, the dope boys, all that,
absolutely,
nonstop. It sounds to me like you had a huge family to bounce stuff off of and help out and things like that. Aunts and uncles and all that. That's awesome, man.
I did.
When I was growing up, all of my aunts and uncles lived elsewhere, like in Florida, so we didn't have that big, huge base family. What about you, Ted?
I have two uncles, one on each side, and one I don't ever think lived in the United States full time. In fact, he just retired and moved to, I don't know, like Central or South America. He lives
Paraguay or some shit.
Yeah, he's out in the middle of nowhere. And then my other uncle was a radiologist and is now retired. That's it. I didn't have a big family, and they were like around. Like I saw both of them quite a bit, but I don't have a big family. Like both my grandparents are gone now, both sets of grandparents, and so I did have a mean ass great grandmother though. That sounds a lot like your grandmother. And when I would act up, she would whoop my. She was mean as shit. She was born in Oklahoma before it was a state.
What?
Yeah, she'd get all drunk at hockey games and throw beer bottles and shit. It's like she was, That's where I get it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jesus.
she's hanging out on the wagon wheel. She had a wagon wheel with spinners on it.
Probably. That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh man.
So you're trying. So when you first start trying, and I get it because I tried for a long time. You go to, excuse me, you test at these places, and there's a lot of people.
Yes.
Shit, now, dude, they would be throwing you sign-on bonus to get
Right.
to get you there.
Right.
But it's tough to get hired there. What did you? Anybody else in your family in law enforcement?
Yes. My cousin he retired in Roxborough, North Carolina, as a sergeant. All growing up, whenever I came down to visit, I would, kind of pick his brain and everything. My uncle who's up there, he retired in Jersey City. Matter of fact, I don't remember his rank, but he's retired. I think it's been 2 or 3 years. I used to always kind of, every time he came to like the family reunion, and I knew he had like something on his hip, I used to always wonder like, what is that? What is that? And I try to grab it and pull it. He'd be like, don't pull on that. Don't pull on that. That's not good for you. You know what I mean? So I just asked him like, what is that? Why do you have it? And he would explain to me, I'm a police officer. This is what I do, all of this stuff. And, a lot of times, majority of officers, they carry concealed or, wherever they're going to a different state, they carry a gun. So, he explained all of that to me. And, that kind of made me pursue it even more because I was like, well, hey, I got somebody on the inside that can tell me, the good and the, the bad of, every situation and how to, how you go about things and, different things of that nature.
Yeah. And if he's working in Jersey City, he's seen a lot of shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So you get down there you're like, I'm going to give it a shot down there. You get down to Oxford. And when did you get hired?
I got hired in 2018, but before that, it was a long process, man. I probably spent, I want to say up in Jersey when I first started, probably was 20 or 21. And I don't know, I probably spent, man, probably close to maybe about $10,000 just traveling like up and down the East Coast. I would apply for Virginia. I went to New York. I was about to get hired there, but I said no. I went to Maryland. Was about to go to Georgia, different spots in North Carolina. Because up in Jersey, as you know, like you said, you test, in all these places, and you got to get picked in an order. You know what I mean? So if your name, you can score a 90, or 95. But if it's a lot of people with my last name is Allen, so if it's a lot of people with AA or AB, then they're going from that list. So you could get a high score and never get picked. So I was trying for about 10 years just to get hired. And then my cousin who was an officer in Oxford, he said, hey man, we're hiring like a lot, we need some officers. So why don't you apply? So I applied in 2018, and within a few months, it was between either Oxford or Durham. And I called the lieutenant at the time and told him like, hey, Durham is saying that they're going to pick me up within like a few days. So I need to know something. And he said, well, give me a few minutes. And I think within maybe 10 or 15 minutes, he called me back and was like, well, look, you did everything, went through the process, came down here, did everything. So, we're going to hire you. So I got hired in 2018 and turned down Durham.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've been there, man. I tested for years, and you show up at a place and there's 4,000 people trying out,
absolutely.
testing, and the difference between a 92 and a 95 on your test is like 60 places.
Yeah, exactly.
And that shit's tough.
Compared now to like Texas, like departments in Central Texas, which I won't name, or in Northern Texas, are flying to California and being like, yo, and they're holding up a piece of paper saying, look what you can get for $400,000 in Texas. Ooh. And this is what you're going to make. And they're like, what? And they're like, plus we'll give you a signing bonus. And dudes from California are like,
peace. Deuces.
Later. Well, and they're like, and you can still arrest people in Texas. So they still arrest people in California. I'm giving them shit. Like, I mean, at the HRD in California, like we had some really nice teams there, and we had some teams from Huntington Beach there. We had a female handler with a really nice arm from Sunnyvale, California, and she actually emailed me right after the seminar. We did a version of Fuck It Stellan. And she's like, yo, it's weird that we did this because like the next night they had a DV where they chased a dude into an apartment complex with a gun and the dog smoked him. And she's like, And we added something to that, Eric. We added a deal where we had Marty, shout out to Marty, from South San Francisco PD, act as their lieutenant and give them a debrief on it. And we recorded it, like ask them case law, ask them why did you bite him?
Oh, nice.
Just the facts, and then we showed them video of them doing the bite, and they were like, "What the fuck?" So they still bite people in California. I'm just giving a shit.
Oh yeah,
they do a good job, but I did make a lot of
Rich on to
inappropriate jokes.
Dispel all those rumors.
We should have Rich and Marty on.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. So you get down there, you get on the road. What do you think when you start? What are you thinking?
Man, I mean, when I first started, as any gun-ho officer, you're trying to get into everything. So I'm out there trying to, do my best and, write as many tickets, because a lot of people think that North Carolina, you got a quota, to meet and this, that, and the third. But no, there's no quota. And, I'm just out there trying to, get in the cars and, just become the best officer, that I can be for the department. And I wind up, getting some lifesaver awards within my second year of becoming an officer. I got my first one stopping a guy from actually killing himself with a broken glass bottle up to his neck. I stopped him I was able to talk him down, and my sergeant, when he arrived, we would tased him, and we were able to subdue him and get him some help at the hospital. And then probably not even 9 months after that, I received my second one for actually kicking down a door and bear crawling to a lady in a burning house and dragging her out. So I received my second one for that.
Yeah, it's funny. So when I was in my rookie year in 1996, me and a few other guys were awarded the Medal of Valor for our department, and it was for a fire. Getting a bunch of people out of a fire. We saved like 12 people and a cat.
Wow.
But back then, at the time, because my department, my whole career was really shitty with awards. Like supervision didn't give a shit. And if we were trying to help morale and as a union, we were trying to like, man, why don't you give this guy? And they're like, it's just fucking handle your calls.
Yep.
But back then, the only way you could get the Medal of Valor, it seemed, was fires. Rescuing people from fires.
Wow.
I remember that. I didn't like it. The place was fully on fire and everything. The electrical wires are going crazy. It was interesting. There was
I wonder if they told the firefighters the same thing. Like every time they went and did their job, they pulled somebody out of a fire. They're like, don't worry about it. Just do your fucking job. Yeah. They're like, well, the cop did it and he got a medal.
Oh man. Ooh.
We just cops aren't trained for that though. But
we had supervision that were giving themselves, awards and not giving it to the patrolmen and fuck them. And it's my whole career was like that.
The fuck do admins need words for?
Yeah. I was in a couple shootings at my department.
Jesus.
And at the end, after the second one, which was on a SWAT raid, at the SWAT Christmas party, which was my final, because was just leaving the team. The captain, or he's the chief, but he was captain on my last shooting, or chief, I can't remember. I got these 2 combat award. It's this big ribbon with a star because there was 2 of them, and he handed it to me, and he whispered, and he goes, "Is that okay?" or something like that. It's something really shitty.
Is this the same? Is this the same dude that like they left you with your gun after a shooting, and then when you handed it to him, you told him you'd cleaned it, and he freaked out?
Well. Same era, but
Jesus,
that was a captain that I did that to.
Jesus,
I shot the dude with my M4, and me and the union president and my attorney are sitting in an interview room conference room in the detective bureau, and like for an hour or 2 hours with the rifle that I shot the guy with.
Wow.
They come in and they're like, we got to take your rifle. I go, perfect. I just cleaned it. And he's like freaking out. And I'm like, Captain, you guys, we shoot, it's not, we shoot a couple people a year there in Canton, 1 or 2, a couple, sometimes more, sometimes less. And it's like, man, act like you've been here. I mean, why isn't this standard? So I go to leave at the end, and they, he goes, hey, I got to take your pistol. And I said, why? I didn't shoot it. he goes, I know, but we're gonna go ahead and test it anyways. I'm like, that's fine. I just reloaded it and I handed it back to him. And he's like, stop doing that. I'm like, fucking pull your head out of your ass, dude.
Jesus
Jeez.
Christ.
Fucking Dave.
Ooh.
So you get going. Let's talk about when you got picked into K9.
I actually got picked into K9, I want to say last year, actually. My incident month in May would have made a actual full year. So
Okay.
my police department, I mean, they went through the process to see, I guess who wanted the K9, and I basically was I don't want to say the only one, but I basically was the only one who kind of put my hat in there put my name in the hat because I always trained as a decoy with the previous K9 handler, Corporal Murphy. So I was always hanging around him and kind of, making the dog mad, hitting on the truck and trying to see, what I could do to kind of get him riled up, and just kind of, play with him and try to get used to it. And I mean, I didn't plan on becoming a K9 handler, but once I started hanging around him and becoming a decoy and seeing how he reacts to walking around cars and everything, I was like, hey man, you know what? I mean, I live in the country. I got some space for a dog, so I might as well, go into it, and I developed a passion for it.
So your dog is tell us about your dog.
My dog is a German Shepherd. His name is Halligan. He's pretty big. I'm trying to trim him down now, while I'm out, to kind of slim him up, and I'm working on some agility training, and everything with him.
What now? I can't remember from the first time we talked. Are you his second handler?
No, I'm his third handler, actually.
Third. Okay.
Third, yeah.
So how old is he now?
I believe he is about 5 years old,
So
going
he's
on
like
6.
2 or 3, going on 4 when you get him.
Yeah,
Something
just
like that.
Just
All right.
about 3, yeah.
So what was like that beginning training? Like, where did you guys do your training at? Like your initial?
The initial training that I had to go through was with the guy for the Granville County Sheriff's Office. I believe actually he gave us Halligan. I want to say he sold him to us, and he's certified like in the whole instructor thing. And I had to go through training in about 4 months. Halligan already kind of knew everything, so I had to get used to him and training and myself and learning, how he reacts to certain things instead of, kind of overlooking it. So I had to go through training for about 4 months with him.
So he's dual purpose?
Yes, he's dual purpose and everything.
Narcotics and bite work?
Yep, yes sir.
How does he do in the bite work? Does he like it?
Yeah, I think I have to work on more training with him. He's okay at the bite work. If I could get some people, man, like you guys, if you guys was up here, doing something, if I can get some more training with the bite work and outing, I think that would be great. But he's pretty good, but I think he could be better. I want to work on more, bite work, with him.
Do you know how far from Shelby, North Carolina you are by any chance?
Not necessarily. Maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe.
That's not bad. We have a good friend, Howard Young, over there, and Howard owns a company called Whitebeard K9.
Okay.
I'm actually going there in October to teach my e-collar and out class and all that other stuff. But
okay,
Howard's
Shelby.
a good decoy. He does a lot of really good work with bite dogs. He has a podcast called Working Dog Depot.
Okay.
And if you listen to him on there, you'll get to know who he is. And he's been on this podcast a couple of times. He's real good.
I think you're like 2 hours from there.
2 hours.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
It's
That's not bad.
It's showing me 3 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. From this location.
Oh.
And I'm about 10 minutes. I'm about 10 minutes from here.
Yeah, make a day of it. So
oh yeah.
Howard's a good dude. He's real good at building dogs like that. He might be able to help you.
Okay.
So anyways, you're working with him. Things are going good. You have him for about a year. Is he getting some dope?
Yeah. He's getting I would say I probably a lot of people say that I did the most, work with him, like as far as getting, dope and guns and, just working my way into a vehicle. So yeah, he's doing pretty good. He was doing pretty good when we were on the street, making everything happen. So I would say he was getting a lot of stuff.
You guys got highways too? I can't remember.
Yes, we run into a highway. I believe it's 85.
85. Yeah, that's yeah, I was on 85. There's probably a lot of dope comes on there.
Yeah, it does.
What do you, dope wise? What do you see? You got is it cartel dope? Is it coming out of Charlotte? What's going on?
Yeah, it's coming. If you're on 85, you get a lot of stuff. It's I mean, the county themselves, come across a lot of stuff. I mean, it could come from New York, it could come from Miami. It's a lot of stuff that passed through, on the interstate.
Yeah, I bet.
Mm.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first break here for a second. We're going to come back. We're going to pick the conversation up. Don't fast forward through the commercials. We have some new sponsors, new one mainly, and some of the old ones that have stayed on. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a second. One of the longtime sponsors of the show is Dogtra. Eric and I are actually both field staff guys. So Dogtra has been committed for over 20 years to crafting training collars to perfect precise fit and finish and intuitive design and accountable performance. The 1900 SE collar demonstrates what they strive for, which is an ultimate dog training tool that is durable, dependable, and designed for the most demanding conditions. And I actually use this thing at the kennel. They have the new black one that has the lock and the boost feature on it as well as the hands-free, which we use a ton. If you guys follow me on social media, you see that I use that during tracking, and we do that negative reinforcement trick, which is that's the collar that we're using. The other thing is the YS600. So funny fact, that stands for Yo, Shut Up. The number of times that you won't have to say it because it works every time. So use the discount code WDR10 for 10% off any single item over $200. And of course, they also have the popper and the dropper, which I think I have 5 of at the kennel I use all the time. So hit them up, dogtra.com, WDR10 for 10% off a single item over $200. All right, we are back from commercial break. It's a good thing. I had to run downstairs. My dog had his head stuck in the toilet, so that's fun. It's a long story. For those listening, my old ass, retired dog is, he's getting dementia, I think, but he was trying to get a drink and apparently left the bathroom door open and just had his head stuck in the toilet and he was barking. So, we are back. We are back, with Officer Daniel Allen from Oxford, North Carolina. And we're going to start. We were just talking about Halligan, and you spent 4 months in school. And yes, you guys caught a lot of dope. You guys caught a lot of dope on 85. And did you guys have any successful tracks, or get asked to do a lot of tracks? Our guys get asked to do a ton of evidence recovery and tracks, and a lot of mutual aid calls. So
yeah. We've gotten to do some tracks as far as when I was able to, if I was on a job or if somebody else was working, I might assist them, assist the county or anything that they need, or another agency, like you said, mutual aid. So we've gotten a few successful tracks.
So May 5th. Now this is the thing. We're going to talk about the incident. We're going to deep dive into the incident that we're here to talk about.
Okay.
This just happened, man, a few months ago. And,
yes,
and it just still irritates Ted and I both that was not really publicized. Scott told me it wasn't even made that big of a deal down there locally.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ridiculous that this didn't make bigger news. So might as well. I'm just going to have you start from finish, start to finish, and Ted and I'll ask you some questions in there. But let's deep dive this shift on May 5th.
Okay. May 5th, it was approximately, I want to say maybe about 6:18, 6:19. Our shift ends at 7:00. So by the time, I was doing that, I went to go get some ice cream. I was sitting around the corner from the actual place where it happened at. And one of the guys, the kids, the owner's son actually came over to my Tahoe and was like, "Hey man, you want some ice cream? You sitting here, let's, chat up a little bit." So I said, yeah, he went to go get me the ice cream. I'm sitting there. And while we're talking, I'm like, well, you know what, man, it's getting kind of late. I got to kind of go to the PD and check over these reports and, do the ones that I have. So I told him I'll see him later. I drive off and I'm going down this street called College Street. And by the time I take a bite of the actual ice cream, they dropped the tones and said, all city and county units, please respond to Prospect Avenue. There's a disturbance. A man, I believe, if I'm correct, he was banging on the neighbor's door with a hammer or some sort. So I activate my blue lights and my sirens, turn around in the street, go back to it. My mind was telling me to go up to one way of the street so that my passenger side was facing the suspect's house. So I go up and at the time I got kind of like this eerie feeling. It was just real quiet, like everything just kind of zoned out. And I started going past the suspect's house, and it was a lady waving for me to come up there to the neighbor's house. So instead of me going to that lady's actual house, I went to the caller's house, who was right next door. She was standing in front of a glass door, waiting for me. So I pull up and I park my Tahoe. I put it in park. I look back at my dog, and I don't know. I usually don't do this, but I look back at my dog, and I kind of put it in park. I got out, shut the door, and time just kind of froze. By the time my right foot hit the driver's side tire for me to turn around, the Tahoe, all I heard was do 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 do, just rapid AK. It was like AK-47, AR-15 round something. So I hear that, and automatically I can't run back and get my AR-15. I can't pull my gun because at the time I don't really know where it's coming from. So I start running across the street, and now that I actually think about it, it was a lady videoing on Facebook Live, so she caught the whole thing. So
holy shit!
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, she's on Facebook Live, and all you see is my Tahoe just kind of passing by, and it kind of aggravated me because I had just gotten my Tahoe tinted. And I mean, that thing was looking good, man. I had 5% all around, 35 on the windshield, and that thing was looking clean. And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to just go talk to this guy and, see just what's wrong with it. Can we kind of resolve this situation? So by that time, like I said, I just hear doot, 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 doot. So the lady who's recording, she actually congratulated me and she actually thanked me because I didn't know it, but in that moment of me kind of just looking to see where it comes from and then running real quick, she said that I kind of took the attention off of them because he was shooting at their house first, and that's where the firepower was coming from, and I didn't know it. So she said if it wasn't for me running, taking the attention off of them, they would have died. And I mean, I can attest to that because it was a whole bunch of bullet holes in their house. And when he saw me, he stopped and started tracking me where I was going. Everywhere I was going, I was running, and he just started tracking me to that house where I was. So I ran to the third house. He started at the first house, saw me, started shooting at the first house, all the way to the second house, all the way to the third house. So as he's shooting, I'm just running. I'm just making myself so small, like, please don't hit me in the head. Please don't hit me in the head. Please don't hit me in the chest. Please don't hit me in the chest. And come to find out, the bullets that he was using, the ammo that he was using was green tips. So it was like, it was no way, whatever he would have shot me in the chest or whatever, it would have went through. And, who knows, I would have probably just dropped dead right then and there. But I'm running, and I get to the corner of the house, and I'm like, okay, yes, I just hit this corner and make that left, and I'm good. By the time I thought that, he shot right through the siding of the house, and it hit me right in the back. I didn't know where in the back, but I immediately dropped to the ground. I felt this hot sensation just kind of coming over my legs, and I had to actually look to the back as I was bear crawling to see if my leg was attached to me. It was just this hot feeling and numb feeling. I thought, like, man, this guy done chopped my leg off somehow with a 50 cal or something. My leg is gone. And I looked to the back, and I just felt like a handful of blood. I looked at my hand, it was nothing but blood. I started bear crawling into the separation between the house. It was like a fence and like these big Christmas trees, kind of like pine trees. I bear crawled through there. I still got the marks on my arms from crawling through the sticky briars, and I know for sure I went through some red ant hills because I felt stuff biting me as I was crawling through. So I'm crawling through, and I just kind of like still feeling this hot sensation, and I'm thinking like, man, like I'm going to die like right here behind this house or right here where I was. So I started climbing up the gate to see if I can walk, and I immediately dropped back down. My whole bottom half is numb. It feels like I'm carrying like 300 pounds on my hips. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just crawl to the back of the house and try to get behind, some trees, some sheds, some something. And as I'm crawling, I make myself small again to get up under this little tree that was like kind of hanging over through the ground. So I crawl up underneath there. I'm losing my dagger, my baton, my light, and everything. So I'm just still going, still going. And I get behind this big oak tree, and I'm kind of I hear Central on the radio calling for me, and my partner's calling because actually, and I didn't say this, but at the time my partner, she was coming up behind me, and he started shooting at her. She was able to back all the way down to the end of the street, and as she got out, one of the bullets hit her, went through the windshield, shattered the windshield, and hit the headrest of her vehicle. So she was able to get out in the nick of time. And I just hear her, screaming, 190, are you 10-4? 190, are you 10-4? And I hear Central calling for me. But at the time, I'm going in and out. I'm just like, and I'm just I'm losing it. You can see on my body cam, I'm just kind of slouching down, going down, and kind of coming back up. And I'm in my mind, I'm saying I'm 10-4, but I'm actually not saying nothing at all. So I get behind the oak tree, and I'm able to say, this 190 Central, I need help. I need help. And then I hear, all the other officers and the detectives on the radio asking, where are you? Where are you? And I'm able to say, I'm across the street from my Tahoe in the back of that house. So they were able to kind of get an idea of where I was because they were going behind the suspect's house. They were going behind other houses just to find me because I wasn't answering. They just wanted to locate my body or something. And as I'm doing that, I'm telling them where I'm at, and I finally just lose all my energy and lay on the ground. And I got an Apple Watch, and I'm saying, like, hey Siri, call my wife. Hey Siri, call my wife. And my watch is not connecting to my phone because my phone is in the car, shot up. And I didn't realize that, so I'm still trying to call my wife. Still trying to call my wife. So that's not, happening. And I just kind of lay on the ground, and I look up and I see this star just not moving. And I'm thinking it was maybe an airplane or something, but it wasn't moving. So I knew for a fact it was a star. And I kind of reach up to the like I could grab it. And as I'm like kind of grabbing it, the guys, one of the guys from the sheriff's office comes, and he's looking for me, and I see him with the AR, and I just gathered the last strength that I could, yell, and I'm like, help, I'm over here. So he was about to turn around and go back, but once he heard that, he turned around, and on the radio he said, I've located 190, I've got 190. So him, my sergeant, and one of my other officers, they come running over there, with the ARs, trying to, see if the guy, scan and see if the guy's over there. And they come to me. I'm laying on my back. My officer grabs my hand, and he was like, "You gonna be all right, bro? You gonna be all right, man? You gonna be all right, man?" And I'm telling my Sarge, I'm like, "Sarge, you got to check to see if my dog is okay. Sarge, you gotta call my wife. You gotta call my wife." And he's like this big country guy, so he was like, "Yeah, all right, buddy. All right, buddy. We gonna get you. We gonna call him, but we gotta make sure you all right first. We gotta get out of this line of fire, buddy." So I'm just like, okay, Sarge, okay. So he's just like, okay, are you able to move? Are you able to, get up? And I'm like, Sarge, I can't move. I can't move, and I'm at this time, I'm like really not even able to talk at the time. So my Officer Oakley, he says, well, Sarge, I can go back and get my car because the ambulance is stuck at this the kind of like this school building where they fix, not the school building, but the school bus yard, and it's fenced in, and they're telling them to ram the fence and just come through and get some help. But there's another fence that's blocking that, it's no like in or out, it's just a regular like tall fence, metal fence. So they would have to get some cutters, in order to actually cut and get me through. But that took too much time. So he said, well, if you're able to go get it, okay, just be safe and come back. So so Officer Oakley, he runs and go gets his vehicle, and they drag me, and I'm probably the most I weighed at the time was 240, 245. And at that moment, with all my gear, to them, I probably weighed about 300 pounds because they couldn't even drag me. And when they did, they were so like out of breath and so tired. Officer Oakley finally comes and brings the car around, and they drag me and pull all the strength they had, pulls me up, puts me in the back. The back seat is filled with blood. I'm just like, yo, just go, just get me to the hospital, which is right across the street, not even 15 seconds, across the street. So they shut the door, get me all the way to the hospital. We get to the emergency entrance, and as I'm getting out the car, I just see everybody running out, and Officer Oakley's like, he's been shot, let's go. So they get me on the table in a trauma unit, and take all my stuff off, cut all my stuff, and they find that I'm hit right below the hip, right where my right butt cheek starts. That's what is like right below the hip. So I get hit through there, and they see it's no exit wound, no exit. So they just, it's enlarged in there. So they kind of stabilized me, got me, ready for to be life flighted. And once they said, I'm gonna be life flighted, they kind of patched me up and everything just to kind of make sure I was good. And they life flighted me to Duke Hospital, where I they kind of stabilized me even more, took the x-rays, told me where I was, hit at, told me what was wrong, told me that basically my hip was shattered, and some of my pelvic bone was as well. So that happened on the 5th. They operated on me on the 8th and stabilized me and everything. To the end of it all, the guy killed himself. They told me that he wound up killing himself. My Tahoe wound up being shot up 18 times. My dog wound up being shot between 2 to 4 times. I wound up being, of course, shot as well 1 time. And they had to take, it was 56 staples that they had to take out. And they kind of like filleted me open on my left thigh, because the bullet is stuck in my left thigh, and it's a dark spot where I know that the bullet is at. I don't feel it, but when I press down really hard, I do feel pain. And like I said, they had to kind of fillet me open, get all the fragments out. The bullet is still stuck in there. Some of the fragments are still stuck in there, but they said if it's not bothering me to a point where I'm, going to die or anything, they're going to leave it until it bothers me, or until it like pushes out itself. And ever since then, I've been on the road to healing.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go hindsight here, what we know.
Okay.
What was happening in that house with that dude? What did you guys learn? You were telling us the first time that the house was bare and he just was set up in a sniper's nest.
Yeah. When we first got a call there 30 minutes before this happened, I started walking around the house along with my sergeant and one of my other officers, Officer Elliott. Started walking around the house, and it was nothing but the studs in the house. Like, if I walk up to the house and I look in, I can see straight through the back. Like, everything, it was no walls whatsoever. The only thing that had walls was his bedroom. And as I was walking around, I heard like something like a dryer or something kind of going off, like he was washing clothes, but I couldn't look into that room. My sergeant was right there at his room at the side door. So at any given moment, he could have picked us off, right then and there, all three of us, because we had no cover or anything. But I think that at that moment he was inside loading up, getting it or getting his thoughts ready. Like, okay, well, if they come back here, I'm going to kill everybody, I can, and then just take myself out. I think after he probably saw me drop on the ground, he knew that it probably was no way he was going to come out of there alive. And he basically locked himself, I guess, in a room. Well, no, I can't say that, because when they went in, he was at the door of the room, at the entrance, slouched down on the floor, with a handgun in his hand, and like a mason jar full of moonshine, I guess, or some substance that was sitting next to him. So he kind of took himself out of here.
Did how much ammo? Like, what did it look like in there?
From my knowledge, if I'm correct, almost like long rectangle tables like you would see at church. He had like I want to say about 13,000 rounds of ammo, if I'm correct, and multiple guns that could fit like on a table. So if he wanted to like go to war at any time, yeah, he could have then, he could have really brought, the rain.
So as this is all going on, the initial hits on you happened like as you're coming around the cruiser, right? So the cruiser takes rounds, and at the time, you're not sure what's happened to Halligan,
Right.
right?
Right.
So how long was he in the car prior to somebody doing something about it?
I believe that it was a few hours that Halligan was in the car. I don't know the exact time, but I think they were there from 7 o'clock all the way till 3 o'clock in the morning that next day. And Halligan was in the car because they had the Bearcats coming out. They had 3 Bearcats come out. They had Highway Patrol, the county, different other agencies out there. So I guess they were trying to establish some sort of connection with that guy who took himself out. I think that they were trying to get to him, but they didn't know that he was dead. So they was trying to come up with a plan. But Halligan was in the car for a few hours, so it was the potential of he had the potential of dying in that car because we didn't know how he was. But they did take a drone. I want to say maybe about an hour or two after that, maybe, and they got the drone next to his window. Luckily, I had the window down. I cracked it a little bit, and they were able when they got the drone down to his level. He started going crazy in the Tahoe, shaking it back and forth. So they knew that he was still alive and somewhat still in good shape.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing the story where they flew the drone in, and the dog went ape shit in the back of the car. And they're like, "Yo!" So what was the process at that point? Because at that point, I mean, at that point, they hadn't determined that this guy had already offed himself, right? So, what was the plan to get the dog out of the car?
Well, they didn't know that I had the button. After they took my pants off and everything at the hospital, the release button was on my belt. They didn't know about that, but after a certain time, they were able to get some units up there. Open the door, and one of the officers that worked with Durham PD, Durham County Correction. He was a K9 handler. He was able to actually get Halligan out without him biting him, and actually take control, of him and bring him with him.
So the rounds he got shot with, what damage did it do internally to him?
They don't know if it was AK-47 or AR or 22 because the guy, I guess, kept switching up guns, but he got shot between 2 to 4 times. They don't really know, but they did have to perform emergency surgery on him, and he actually had to have his spleen removed and part of his liver.
Oh, pierce his liver, man. The fact that he survived that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Because imagine that. He's just sitting in the car. What's going on?
Yeah.
Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Have we'll ask in the last section my question. But so when did you find out that he was alive?
I found out when I was in the hospital, actually, when I was in Duke, actually. They had, kind of stabilized me and everything, put me in a trauma room. And then I believe, I want to say either the chief or the captain actually told me, that they were, taking them to the the vet and the emergency vet and everything. And I believe either one of them two or either Detective Carson actually told me that he was, stable and he was going to be staying with, Carson for the remainder of the time until I got better and was able to take care of him.
Ted, while we're talking, will you look up when we posted that on How Far Back on Working Dog Radio that we can show that picture of that the kennel? It was an American aluminum insert inside the back of the Tahoe, and if you guys go and Ted will give you how far back to look. It's crazy to see what that did, but the deflections of some of those rounds off of the kennel probably saved him or could have caused some of the hit. You never know, but it was definitely a shit show in the back of that car.
We posted it on July 26th.
Okay.
And we posted a picture of when you met him in North Carolina or South Carolina, sorry.
North Carolina.
And then we've got pictures of the patrol vehicle in there. It's like one of the rounds went through one of the bars in the center divider, went through the B pillar. The tire's flat. Like, the back window is shattered. It was hilarious listening to you tell the story. She's like, man, I just got attended. And I'm like, bro, you got fucking shot at.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you got fucking shot, man.
Yeah,
like,
shit was looking good.
I'm like, bro, you got shot.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was pissed off and fucking ruined my tent. And I'm like, I'm listening to the story. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
All right. But no, it was, if you go back, it's on July 26th, and the cover photo is you guys sitting together. I assume it's Scott's place, right?
Yeah, we were at his doggy daycare and just sitting in there. And I kind of asked him a few questions. I didn't want to get too deep into the story because I wanted to be on air here. But if you go back and look, you can see me talking to him, and he's got a walker, and we're going to get into that here in a minute where we're at. Yeah,
probably after a commercial break is probably the best time.
We're going to go ahead and take our next commercial break. When we get back, we're going to look at we're going to talk about where we're at, where we're headed, the kind of the fallout of some of this stuff that happened. Again, it just chaps my ass that it wasn't, a bigger story, because it sounds like it's absolute hell. When were you the first Oxford officer ever shot?
I believe so. I think I am.
Well, hopefully you're the last.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen again. All right. Anyways, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Stand by.
It's no secret that I love my ALM suit from Arnaud out at ALM K9 Equipment in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. I've had that thing forever. Eric affectionately refers to it as my Carhartt suit because it's so thin. I've had multiple sleeves put back on it, send it back to Arnaud. He fixes me up every single time. The fit and finish is top notch, and it fits me like a glove. I refuse to go anywhere without it. I work Sport Dogs and PSA without it. I just did a trial in California, wore that thing. I work police dogs pretty much every day of the week, and then I use it for personal protection dogs as well. So hit ALM K9 Equipment up on Instagram and Facebook, and then go to ALM K9, letter K number 9, equipment.com, and use the discount code WD Radio for 10% off of your first order. And this is completely custom, so made to measure. Pick your colors, whatever you want to do. Arnaud will work with you. You can make it as thin or as thick as you want, but hit them up. ALM K9 Equipment.
Ever dreamed of having your own kennel but don't know where to start? Horizon Structures has taken all of the guesswork out of building a kennel. Everything is pre-built to your specifications and preferences, and then assembled and dropped off on your land. Boom, new kennel. Hooked up to your electric, hooked up to your water, put dogs in it that day. And those things are amazing. You've got to see them to truly believe them. Get on the website, horizonstructures.com. You can custom build. You can buy one that's already built, go off of their design, come up with your own design. They'll work with you. They always are running discounts on the website with ready-to-go kennels. The kennels are already ready to go. There's always discounts. horizonstructures.com. Check them out. All right, everybody, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite. You just listened to a wild-ass story from our guest, Corporal Daniel Allen, down in Oxford, North Carolina. Wild is like, you're good at describing it. Like, kind of felt like we were right in there, with the exception of getting shot. We didn't have that part. So, so when I met you, you have a walker currently. Are you still using that, or you got a cane? What are we doing?
Now I've been going to PT about twice a week. And now I switched from the walker to a cane. And sometimes I can walk without the cane, but I still have that limp and still have that pain. Surprisingly, not a lot of pain in my hip, but more so pain in my back, left thigh, my calf, and actually my foot, which is like horrible.
I've heard that. Is it nerve damage, I assume?
Yeah, it's nerve aggravation, they say, because it kind of shook it up a whole lot, and they said if it would have been just a centimeter to the left or to the right, I would have been paralyzed in that leg. And if it would have been a centimeter up, then I would have had to use a bag for a long time.
That's crazy, man, how that shit works.
Yeah.
And it obviously ricocheted off the hip bone and stayed inside. And
went through.
So they told you about a year you're looking at?
Yeah, they said about the road to recovery is probably about a year, maybe longer, depending on me, and depending on my body as far as like mentally and physically as well. So it's just about a year.
Yeah.
So what are we? 4 months? Happened May 5th. So September 5th would be what?
4 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4
4.
months. So it's with like we're the last couple of days of August right now.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Physical therapists are amazing people, but sometimes they can seem to be sadists a
Yep.
little bit.
Yeah.
Is it tough? How's that therapy going?
The therapy is in the beginning it was rough because I'm learning. I got to learn how to walk again, learn how to run. I got to be as far as like be strong physically, like picking up stuff or squatting, different stuff that has to do with like with the lower extremities. So that was pretty tough, and I just started doing the leg press because my leg was smaller than my right leg. So I'm just now as of last week starting to do like the leg press and get my strength back in my actual leg and my hip.
Well, when you told me that at the time of the incident you were 245, when I met you, I thought you were about $185.
Yeah.
Where are you at now?
I'm about 210 now. I'm slowly starting to. My father actually dropped off some weights, some like a curl bar and some weights. So I'm about 210. I'm slowly starting to get my appetite back because, I mean, I wasn't eating nothing, man. I just didn't have an appetite. I would go maybe a day or two and just eat once. My appetite was gone. I didn't feel like doing anything. I would just stay in a room and use the massage gun on my foot and my leg, and I just really kind of I wasn't in a state. Yeah, I was just in a state of depression, man, because it was just like, why even try to do anything when I can't walk, when I can't run, I can't crawl, I can't really do anything but just lay here. And it took my physical therapist to tell me like, hey, resting is good. It's going to get you, better. And I was just such in a rush to try to do jumping jacks and, do all this other stuff and get on a treadmill so quick. And it took her telling me like, hey, man, you're going to get back there. Don't rush. Get yourself better than you were before the incident.
So everybody that's listening to us is like, what about the dog? Like, you're cool and everything, but what about the dog? Let's talk about his recovery.
His recovery actually is is way better. Within about 2 weeks, Halligan was back to normal. I mean, it wasn't too long before he was back, growling.
After losing his spleen and his part of his liver.
Yeah, he's back to normal. Like I said, within 2 weeks. Yeah, he was. I mean, he's shaking the cage and everything now, probably as we speak, barking and stuff.
Who do you have him, or is he with one of the other guys?
No, I actually have him now. If I have to go somewhere for an extended time, I call up Detective Carson and he'll take care of him, or either some of the guys from the county will like feed him and watch him until I get back. So he's at the house now.
So has he been in the back of another cruiser?
No, I haven't gotten him there because I want to see how he's going to do with around gunfire. Matter of fact, I actually shot a AR-15 yesterday, in the backyard, and I mean he was pretty chill. He was pretty cool. He didn't run around or look around and go crazy. He was walking back and forth to see what was going on and to make sure I was okay. But he's done good. That was only 2 shots. I need to actually, get him to a point where I can like just let off about 30, 50, multiple shots and see how he does and make sure he doesn't, go crazy. While he's in the cruiser, do that. And while he's out, do the same.
Yeah. Dogs learn everything through picture association. So my advice would be just get him in and out of the car a bunch and just to see, because the last time he's inside this box in the back of the car, a lot of pain happened, a lot of freaking crazy shit.
Okay.
Now maybe he's forgot it, maybe he hasn't. You'll find out. You know, it's baby step that stuff though, man.
Okay.
Yeah, dogs are masters of association. So obviously what you don't want him associating is being in the back of a patrol car with getting lit up.
Okay.
So yeah, like Eric said, like baby steps and shit. Like I would start putting him in the back of the car, feed him, like put the patrol car on running, and just like normal shit before, because we tell a story at HRD where Eric had to tase a dude that he was biting. Well, he was biting somebody's grandma first, but anyway, and the dog and Willie, it was Willie, right? It was Willie.
Yeah.
It was Willie.
That
So
was
Willie took a ride on the taser. He crossed the line. He crossed the wires, and after that, for how long did he? Like every time you arc tested near the car, he fucking.
It was a couple of weeks because we had to arc test every day. So
yeah. So
we just had to familiarize him with it a little bit. He was a apex predator though, that dog. He didn't really give a shit. He just got weird for a second there, but yeah, man. Just baby step that stuff for a while. You're not in a hurry, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's good. My other question too is your backup, the female officer who almost got killed. How's she doing, man?
Every time we speak, she's doing pretty good. She's just trying to, maintain and kind of cope with everything. I advised, her to kind of go to. I suggested that she kind of go to, like these seminars we have here, like for officers down or officers involved in critical incidents and everything like that. They have some seminars or even talk to a therapist, but talk to somebody, because I found out today that, matter of fact, her grandfather passed this morning. So I mean, she's dealing with that as well. So I have to call and check on her today. But as far as the incident, she's taking it day by day.
Yeah, well, if you talk to her, tell her we wish her the best. That's tough, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And there's no shame in talking to people, going and getting checked up. So here's the thing about some of you guys. Now, everybody in North Carolina is going to shake their head because they understand is that the guys that are cops in North Carolina don't make a ton of money. Like they're not getting rich from this, right? Relying on extra jobs, relying on overtime, things like that. So my man here is going to be off for like a year. So a friend of the department, is that who it is that started the GoFundMe?
Actually, his vet, actually, the lady who helps with giving them shots and everything like that, she started it, Miss Pamela. Okay,
that's awesome. They started GoFundMe to help try to offset some stuff, help with Corporal Allen and the stuff he's going through. The department has been super supportive. When we posted the original video, his chief jumped on there.
Right.
She, is she, right?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Chief Ford.
Yeah. Great lady. It's just not something that I've experienced over the years. A big support like that from a chief of police. I love to see it.
Right.
She's doing things right. So we're gonna put the link to the GoFundMe in the show notes, and we'll put it on our social media when this episode comes out. It'll be pretty soon. Okay. We have one more ahead of this, and then this episode. So
thank you,
dude. I'm really glad I got to meet you. And sounds to me like you are a fighter, and don't push it, but do what you can. I hope. I've talked to a lot of people that have that nerve pain down in their foot, and they're like, "This is the worst, the worst thing."
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll subside for you, because I know some people that have struggled with it for a while. It sounds to me like it may have been just a shock to your system. Right. Just rattled that whole shit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we're glad you're alive, man. Glad we got to meet you.
Thank you.
How many guys work at Oxford PD?
I want to say maybe 22 to 25 now, maybe.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
See, that's the thing. It's not just, NYPD and LAPD and guys with 200, 300, 400 guys in their department. It's a 22, 23-man department that this shit happens to. One last question of the guy who killed himself, the guy who shot you. Did you guys know him? besides that one call?
From my knowledge, I never had really came across him or came across any house on his street actually. I never really met him. We never really got a bunch of calls to my knowledge. It just happened that one day. They said either it was three things: either A, they found out he had cancer. B, he found out he lost his job and had cancer, or either C, he got the wrong Amazon package and just lost it.
Yeah.
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 So, okay, last question. What flavor ice cream were you eating when the call went out?
Cookie dough.
Oh, that's good. All right.
But it
I'll
melted.
give you that.
It melted.
Yeah. See? Fucked up your car, your new car,
Yep.
and melted your ice cream.
Yep.
And then put a round in your ass. That's terrible. So,
I think that's going to be the name of this episode, Melted Cookie Dough.
yeah. Okay. That's
Fuck.
crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Shit, yeah. Jump right up and bit me in the ass.
Holy shit.
Right.
Yeah. Ted, where can you be found?
Ted_Summers on Instagram, Torchlight K9 letter K number 9. That's all the police dog stuff. And then same thing on Facebook. And working_dog_radio and HRD police K9 letter K number 9 on Instagram and on Facebook for all that stuff. We just booked Huntington Beach, California for the second week of March, which is going to be good. They have I think 11 or 14 dogs or something.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going to be good. I guess we're using either their helicopter and their drones, or I'm not 100% certain. But so if you're in the SoCal area in March, we're going to be out there doing the HRD, like breaking drywall and whatnot seminars. So yeah, that's the first one of the year. So for right now, but yeah, what about you, Eric?
Cool. Van S K9 on Instagram is mostly where you'll find stuff. I got some of my e-collar without conflict seminars coming up. One in Central Indiana, one down at Howard's Place in Shelby, North Carolina. I'll let you know, Daniel, when I'm going to be down there. So maybe, I could take a night and come up there. I'm going to be staying at Howard's house with him hanging out. So it'd be nice to catch up.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the dates. We're going to be putting the flyers out on social media here pretty soon.
Okay.
And then I'm open if anybody wants me to come teach e-collar without conflict, where I fix all the conflict you have with your dog, tell you all the stupid shit you're doing that's causing all the problems, relayer the e-collar on your dog, and then work on fixing your sticky out.
We had a kid come up to us at Hits and told us that you saved his career.
Yeah, from Utah. He came to my place without his dog. He came to from Utah to Ohio, but paid attention, took notes, like really was into it, watched every dog work and went home and fixed it because he was about done. Like if he failed one more certification with that dog, the dog was out. And the certification problem was the out, the verbal out.
Yeah, Utah Post has it's
a universal problem in the country. Guys struggle with it, and it clouds their memory, clouds their brain the way they work. So anyways, also workingdogradio.com is where you can buy our shirts and all our merch.
Oh yeah, we have the new probable cause.
Yeah, we got
the new probable cause stickers and patches and okay.
Yeah, we got
I forgot about that.
Some stuff coming around. Keep checking in workingdogradio.com. We got 2 new designs coming out for t-shirts, one of which also will be made into a patch and probably some stickers. Yeah. You guys you'll like it. It's pretty good. But anyways, Daniel, I really appreciate you, man. Glad we could get this done.
Yeah.
Tell the trooper who walked in what's up.
I got you, man. It's definitely a pleasure, man, being on here with you guys, and it's a pleasure meeting you guys. I definitely look forward to working with you, Eric, man. If you can come up here and help me, with Halligan, please do. Even you, Ted, if you wind up coming up here, anybody, help me.
Yeah.
We'll get you help.
We'll get you help. Between me and Eric and Howard, and some of the teams around there.
Okay. We know enough good decoys and things that can help you out. So
thank you.
We'll talk to some people before this comes out, but by the time this comes out, you're going to get blown up on it.
Okay.
Hey, what's your work email? Put your work email out there so people can get a hold of you.
The work email is dallen@oxfordncpd.org.
All right,
I want
perfect.
to. Yeah.
There you guys go. We'll put that in the show notes as well. So, all right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Don't hang up yet.